Michael and friends, and CJ and Tyler here. Tyler, by the way, complaining earlier because I have the fan on. And I say that because we're going to learn more about big-ass fans in a moment.
Dana agreed with me. She says cold. I'm part reptilian. I blame it on my mother. I'm cold-blooded to a degree, so I get cold easy.
CJ complains about being cold. Anyhow.
Among other things.
Well, the brunt of
what?
My lack of affection this morning has been directed toward Tom Dorado, so that's okay. I could care less if it's 100 degrees. If they want me.
Oh, my goodness. Barclay, you actually volunteered to come in and be a part of this morning.
No, he didn't volunteer.
I'm just trying to stay low over here and out of the line of fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Barclay pays extra to come in this morning.
Well,
he pays us to come in.
I don't know that is money well spent. Let me just put it that way.
You jazz things up, brought Danna Goss with you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Why did you jump on the floor, by the way? Did you
I had something in my shoe, but I'm so glad that you still think I'm in like the chick era. So that was impressive.
I'm like, she comes in and she just throws herself on the floor. I'm like, what? And it's all occurring behind me. And
obviously, you're not having a problem cussing this morning because you don't even know that there's a donkey on a fan.
I have no idea. They said that, and I was just like, what? What are
They're
you saying on the
incredible.
morning show? Okay. I'm going to get a stinger and put it on the fan that I've got in here. That's what I'm going to do.
But anyway,
All seriousness, High Plains Technology Center, an integral part of not only this radio show on the last Thursday, but basically all the time, and what they do in this community is just phenomenal. And we're challenged, if you will, to take one day a month and talk about all those accomplishments and plans and what we have going. And it's called Tech Bites. What's on the menu, Mr. Holt, the superintendent at High Plains Technology Center, not only in Woodward, but across this part of the world. And let's see Beaver. Beaver is one of your new schools out there, and they're having a big street taco day. It is today, obviously, the March 26th, 11 to 1. Fundraising for student travel expenses so students can attend HOSA Spring Leadership Conference coming up in Norman. They'll be going to be set up by your building, the High Technology Center building. Now, this is the building in Beaver that you use there near the Duster Dome. So if you're in Beaver County, get out there and support those kids and help them raise some money.
We got facilities at all 4 schools in Beaver County, but health and BMIT, the business information program, and a TAP program there at the Beaver campus, and so that's the health portion, is doing a fundraiser for their students there, and then that's just it's kind of one of those things that necessary evil to sending kids across the state, and hopefully
United States. Quite honestly,
that's right.
It takes cash to do the kind of things that you need to do and recognize and reward kids and send them to conferences and that type of thing. So kind of wrap up, I don't say wrap up, but before we visit with Danna and kind of shrink the universe and talk specifically TAP and some of the big things that are going to happen the next day or so. Beaver County, in addition to the Technology Center, High Plains District, if you will, that thing is just not that thing, but it is seemingly just grown by leaps and bounds.
Continues to evolve. I mean, we've been able to do 4 or 5 programs in terms of full-time programs. We've got, 4 now. We'll have 4, and then in TAP, obviously we put TAP in every school, which considering it a program, part of that 4 or 5. But anyway, every school has that represented, and then also health, the business information, and welding construction. And it's been amazing because in 1 year of those full-time programs being there, it looks like we're going to be able to add a construction program, split welding and construction up, because the enrollment is such in welding already that we'll be able to spin it off and make construction it's standalone. And then coming in, I believe it's November, I don't have that date right in front of me, but I think in November we built a CDL pad out there, and we'll be able to start doing CDL training out there as well. So most people know it that live out here, but there's an educational process for the rest of the state that, I mean, your Seaboard, some of those companies out there that require a lot of CDL drivers, send those CDL drivers for training to eastern Oklahoma. or have up till now. So this is going to be a huge deal where they can do it within 40, 50 miles of their facilities out there. So glad about that, and glad that Beaver County going to get to lead in that area, because if you park right between Perryton and Liberal and Guyman with all the CDL drivers with National Beef and everything else that are out there, it's a draw for our state, and we hope that's what we can do for not only our state but the area.
You've been in Beaver County for over a year now, I guess, probably. I don't know exactly how.
Voted in January of 24, so it's been we're right at 2 years of past the vote.
Have you ever kind of stepped back and look and said, "Wow, we're helping a lot of people, we're particularly mostly young people, but
yeah, I mean, I guess wow. Like when you say step back, I mean, we've just taken what we've done here and just and recreated it out there and done it on a level that works. I mean, you know, a lot of people might have jumped out there and built buildings and things like that to start, and I mean a point of a very strong. I mean, I was very strong and kind of grounded in this, that we were going to try to put the dollars into the programs and the kids, not the bricks and mortar so much, because it just costs so much to stand up that, and there was some space out there that could be made available, and the schools have worked with us, the communities have worked with us, even with the CDL pad there at Beaver. That's a cooperative venture between the city of Beaver and ourselves, and it's just been throughout that county, people have stepped up and they recognize that we're putting the dollars into the kids and the programs and the students. When I say kids, that could be, we have a lot of 50-year-old students at our place all the time, but it certainly, I think that's where, if you step back and look at it, just our quick growth out there has happened because we're not trying to build a building, because quite frankly, if you're building a building, we might have it built by now. So that's it's been pretty cool to watch that.
There are many success stories associated with High Plains Technology Center. Probably one that we talk about a lot is the TAP program. And when you think TAP program, you think of Danna Goss. You brought her with you today, and we're going to get into specifics.
I mean, careful always, CJ, to, you know, TAP is a part of a mission. I mean, TAP gets sectored off from High Plains sometimes, and it's a part of High Plains. TAP's just a name of a program, just like any other program out there. It's just our springboard to get kids involved in career tech, and I think that's something that we always have to ground ourselves back to, is that it's just a part of a mission, and it kind of enamors people when, you know, across the state. I know I was talking to somebody at the Capitol yesterday, and they said, you know, it gets brought up in meetings all the time, and people think that they know what it's about. But the reality is, it's been a part of our mission to get our kids involved, and quite frankly, eventually, hopefully, we can get this post-secondary thing to happen to a huge level, to where our kids stay out here. That's the ultimate goal, and when that happens, it'll be because TAP and my full-time programs and our post-secondary all work in concert together to retain our young people and keep them here.
When you think TAP, Danna comes top of mind to me always. Miss Goss always.
She comes top of mind to us too. She's the one that we tried to go hire and got 10 years ago, and Michael was giving her thunder about being on the floor with her shoes, but that's the way she interviewed the day she came in too. So
I was not surviving this day.
It's no different. That's just her, and so
yeah.
And TAP's going to be front and center tomorrow, quite honestly, at the big Woodward Rotters car and bike show, whatever, on Friday, primarily TAP takes center stage. Tell us what's planned there.
Yeah, so a big shout out, and it's really cool how that the car show has evolved over time. I guess it would have been 6 years ago, CJ, we had the first car show in the rocks behind Mazio's by the silos. There was 6 cars there.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right. And we had some guys in town, Mr. Fanning, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Simmons, they're like, Danna, do you know how much the paint costs on these cars? And I had no idea. You know, I'm a farm girl when I'm not at TAP, and so I had no idea. When they told me how much the paint cost, I was like, wow, we cannot continue to have a car show in the gravel. And so big shout out to Bailey, her crew at the event center, the Rodders for really taking the lead and really making it a mission. You know, last year we had like 126 cars there.
Okay.
The cool thing about the car show is that our welding students out on the hill, they make the trophies that are given away.
Okay.
Our marketing department makes the flyers. Our multimedia crew comes and does all the footage, drone work, the video, promotional from that standpoint. The Rodders give away a scholarship to the diesel and the auto kids, and the TAP kids get exposed to lots of things. And so it's really evolved into full circle how it has come along. And so appreciative to where we live. The people that buy into, you know, making young people a priority here in Northwest
I
Oklahoma.
was going to ask you about that, about scholarships that the Rodders provide through those funds raised when you enter a car, so on and so forth.
Right.
That comes down and ultimately helps the kids.
Yes, sir. That's correct. So it's $20 to enter a car. It's $5 after that. If you are a student, you do not have to pay an entry fee, and that is also very cool. So kids can bring their cars out. It's a big deal for the TAP kids. They have all the High Plains students and all of Beaver County. They're bringing a class too, and so every representative all across our district will be out there. There's a Kids' Choice Award.
Okay.
It's crazy what the kids come up with as the winner, and so that's always an anticipated thing as well.
I love the Kids' Choice Award. That's fun stuff, and they think outside the box. Thank
Correct.
goodness that they think outside the box.
Yes, that's what the coolest thing about young people is. It keeps us older generation like moving forward, I think.
It's actually a 2-day event. It
Yes.
culminates on Saturday, if you will, at the Woodward Spring Fling, I think they call it.
Yes, sir.
Car and bike show there at the Woodward County Event Center. And we've talked for several weeks now about Taste of Woodward, the big chamber event tonight in that facility, and it'll wrap up around 8 o'clock, give or take, and then Bailey and Emily and their staff will get that thing ready to take cars at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yes,
so
sir.
What a quick turnaround!
Right.
Quit calling me sir. Quit
Oh,
that.
sorry.
I told you about that.
If you are in the community and you want to come out in Building A tomorrow, we are going to start racing the CO2 dragsters at about 9 a.m. So the kids will race their cars. So in class, kids have been building dragsters. They've also been building model cars. And because with our marketing event, the 8th graders have done a food truck. And so there'll be some competitions. Our 6th grade students build air racers. So all those things will be on display. So if you're a parent or grandparent or a friend of a kid that's in TAP, their things will be on display, and then we'll start racing the cars there about 9 o'clock, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Barclay, I want to talk about post-secondary. You kind of touched on it a bit, and you have great plans, future plans, goals, if you will, however you want to couch it. I'm kind of the belief if you're not moving forward, you're standing still. If you're standing still, you're getting behind. And you have some great goals and plans post-secondary wise for High Plains Technology. Tell us what you can. I know there's some things you can't talk about.
There's a House Bill 1540 out there that passed the House last year. It's sitting in the Senate this year. And honestly, it creates a vehicle for us to be able to get some funding for special projects, and one would be obviously we would sit at the forefront of wanting to do that because, quite frankly, our area we're underserved in terms of that. If you look east I-35, there's 2 years on every hour away from each other, 45 minutes, and there's not out here. So hopeful that Senator Murdoch and the crew there can get that through the Senate this year. It doesn't have funding attached to it right off the bat. But it is the goal with that is to have a more so a lockbox that projects could be funded through, and legislature when the money's available can do that. So that's the long term goal there. But the obvious effect that would happen right here in Woodward would be that our kids wouldn't have to leave. We might actually be a site that students come to within a 2 to 3 hour circle in any direction. Come here to do some training, and then obviously we would like to do a residence hall with, in cooperation with Northwestern, that the kid could go to Northwestern or go to us, or maybe go to us and then Northwestern. So that's the long-term goal, but that's what we're trying to effort towards. And we talk about Bobby and Brenda's donation to that building, kind of spurred that along. And then there's a lot of our key business leaders in town, in the area, that they really like the idea, like the concept of being able to. The difference in us and other institutions is, if you come to us and you're dealing with a local board, and you're dealing with me and Taylor, Don, to decide if that program's viable, can we make it work, does it dollar out, and then we can stand it up. There's not a lot of bureaucracy in our system to stand one up. Other systems, there's a lot of red tape to go through and time constraints to get that done, whereas the business needs that tomorrow. So,
you mentioned the Bob and Brenda Alexander building, which down the hill, if you will, off to the west from the main campus. The governor, Kevin Stitt, was in Woodward here a month or so ago, and hosted him there. And you all, I say you all, the tech center showed a map, and you talk about the area that is underserved at this point, or needs to be served, is our part of the world, and the vehicle out there is High Plains Technology Center. Get that done.
And we've tried to do that through, like, CDL. I mentioned that earlier. It's now going to be opened up in Beaver County. That class, I looked it up, will run November 9th through December 18th. So, that's a part of it. And then I think wind applications closed today for our fall class. Okay. And then LPN is open as well. And those are, probably the ones that hit the highlight reel of post-secondary type opportunities. But those are all an answer to or a response to that we're going to do, and those programs could be expanded from there. But it's absolutely, I get asked all the time, what are you doing with that building? And quite frankly, and Bobby and Brenda understand, we're trying to use that as leverage to say, hey, we got some local people that want to see this happen. There's a $1 million plus investment from local people to see this happen. There's more land available if you'll come across. And as you said, CJ, it's not hard to look at the graphic and see how underserved our kids are out here, and that goes all the way from Felt to Woodward on east to Fairview, and that circle. It's just a huge circle that doesn't happen. And so anyway, that's the goal. That's what we're trying to do, and I think it can happen. It's not going to happen in 1 year, but we lay plans out 5-10 years in advance, and then it's amazing how some of those happen quicker than what you. Sometimes when you look down the road 10 years, things can happen in 2 or 3, whereas if you don't look, it doesn't happen at all. So that's kind of been the way we've operated High Plains the last 10, 15 years, and it seems to be working for us.
It just came to me, I think young people in this part of the world are fortunate. Maybe they don't realize it, to have, and I'm going to start naming people, I'm going to leave somebody out, but you, Mr. Holt, the superintendent, Don and Taylor, folks like Danna, and that entire staff, kind of as an advocate, if you will, for kids. Kids in this part of the world are fortunate to have you guys fighting for them. That just popped in.
Thanks for that, CJ. But I actually told somebody yesterday, I hope that all of our staff's always a cell phone call away, and I hope that if you don't know them in person, you can get a name, a cell phone, and you can always have mine. And if you need something, I've just always been that person that it's a lot easier. I can deal with about anything if you just tell me what we're dealing with. We can come to some resolution, and maybe it's something that's not even on my radar. That's very possible. And a lot of times we stand around and wonder why our educational systems are whatever, any bureaucratic system, why it's not working for us. And honestly, there may be a very plausible reason that why it's not working. And then also, again, I may not even be aware of it. So that's who I've tried to get as staff, and tried to maintain that type of staff. And then honestly, try to look down the road at where we're headed and maintain that, because the honest to goodness part, it's really honestly not about me right now in the next 5-10 years of my career. It's really more about who we have that's coming up through our systems to maintain this 20 years down the road for our kids.
you sense that, or I do, and everybody in this room, obviously you guys call the place home. But when you walk in that front door, and usually it's Anita that says hi and greets every single person.
Director First Impressions, that's her title.
Well, and she does a darn good job.
Absolutely.
Quite honestly, excellent job of that as well. But you just sense that energy when you walk in that facility. Have for years. I mean, it's not something that's just happened the day before yesterday. It's you sense that for years that is just you just feel that energy. Doggone it. Hey, bring us up to speed construction wise. What a huge building!
It's coming along really well. They're going to start doing some interior stuff next week. They got the sheeting's all about done. That building. I mean, I walked in. I was in there the day before yesterday, and I mean, it's going to be. It really, you vision or have a vision of what you think it's going to look like and what you're trying to do. It really is going to be really good space, really good open space for our instructors and construction welding, and then obviously diesel total. But it really is turning out nice. They're doing a good job with that. Something else, CJ, that's coming up that everybody will want to know about or does is our plant sale with those kids.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think April 15th and 16th maybe is the days for it. But upcoming, April 15th, 16th,
I told
and
people
those
they darn well better get there on the first day.
service careers.
All the good stuff's gone.
Yeah,
It might be gone by noon.
service careers kids do that, and that program, Megan Lastly, and they just do a wonderful job in that program of making it happen for kids and what happens out there. So,
well, thank you again, guys and gal, for coming in this morning. And let me put my chamber cap on just momentarily. Thank you on behalf of the chamber for not only tonight with Tony and Phil and everybody that does helps us on the IT side of things. And as many of you know, I'm being drugged feet first into the 21st century. So I can't exist without that type of help. And they've done that for years now. But big time, you bring the ice cream machine. We're going to have homemade ice cream with High Plains Technology Center tonight. So thanks for helping us make that a big deal. Doggone it.
No, thanks for letting us be a part, CJ. We appreciate it.